Welcome, everyone. This is Joe Dager, the host of the Business 901 podcast. With me today is Cindy Barnes. Cindy is a business innovator, strategist, speaker, and notwithstanding, the founder of her UK-based company, Future Curve. She is also the author of Crafting and Delivering Your Value Proposition, which was, I kind of think, one of the original works and still a best-selling book on the subject of value propositions. I'd like to welcome you, Cindy. How is it over in the UK there?
Thank you very much, Joe, and it's a real pleasure to be on your program. So I'm really delighted to be here.
It sounds funny. What strikes me when you're talking like we've transitioned from engineering to designing. Okay.
Absolutely. Do you know, I often say to people, it's the difference between classic product innovation or product work, and this is customer-led innovation, effectively. So a lot of the customer experience work is like customer-led innovation because it has to come from the customer experience, and it has to come from the customers, not just what customers think or clients think or patients think in the case of MRI scanning, but it's what do they feel? You know, it's about emotions. It's about the whole experience, and you can't do the whole experience unless you really understand. You know, they understand emotions, understand behavior. Because as you know, if you ask people what they want, they'll give you an answer, but it's invariably not really what they do want because they haven't really understood what might be possible. They haven't really understood. So you have to give people, different scenarios and watch them. And, the research involved in customer experience work and value proposition work is a different type of research. It's really understanding human behavior.
And I think that brings us to that other subject area that you're recognized for, which is customer centricity. And
yeah.
Can you tie that a little bit? Is that how we tie it, that last story, to the value proposition? Is
Absolutely.
That how they complement each other?
Absolutely. Because it has to be from the customer's perspective. So, it's that shift again. It's that complete 180 degree shift from looking at it from your perspective as a company to looking at it from the customer's perspective. And obviously those have got to match because you've got to fit your capabilities into what you're doing. You're not going to go and invent something maybe completely different. But it's about customer centricity and understanding the world from your customer's point of view.
Do this and we create this value proposition. How do we know when we get it right? Is it ever right, maybe? Is there a way to validate it?
I think absolutely. You've got to test it with your customers. You've got to, first of all, you co-create it together with your customers through the research and through asking them and through, all that good stuff. And then you've got to test it with your customers as well. Absolutely. We always, we help our clients test the value proposition as well.
Well, I'm going to jump to my startups, and maybe not even a startup, but let's say a new product introduction for a company. How do I develop from something newer when I'm exploring new markets? Is there a way to that value proposition? Should that start like at the prototype stage or very early, or what's kind of my first steps when something's like brand new and new markets, new product?
Absolutely. Well, what I would advocate is absolutely doing some in-depth customer research, and the type of research that we do, and the type of research that I would advocate is got to be based on psychology and is got to be based on some anthropology. You're watching humans for human behavior and seeing how people do things, seeing how people behave, seeing how people respond to things. Now, traditional product design wouldn't have done that. It would have come from I've got this, a designer or an engineer or a scientist. I've got this fantastic idea and I believe that there's a market for this, and they'll go away and they'll work it up and then they'll deliver it to the market. And then, okay, does it work? They've left asking the customer or involving the customer too late in the process. Now, sometimes you're going to get a fluke sometimes, and you're going to get some fantastic wins out there. But I would advocate doing some in-depth research beforehand, as early on as you can, and involving customers in the process. So a real co-creation with customers but certainly do the research, and certainly don't just do don't just do traditional research. You've got to include some psychology research, some anthropology research if you can, observing people's behavior, seeing how they use things, seeing what they like, what they don't like.
I guess this kind of leads into something. Your book was written before the value proposition craze, and even before the startup craze. Okay, happened.
I think we may have created the craze for value propositions. I think.
Yeah, and if you could write that book today, besides updating a few of the stories in it, what would you change?
I think I would focus more on making some of the tools and techniques more accessible. I think. When we wrote that book, we were coming at it from quite a technical perspective. So I think, we've learned a huge amount, and we have now done and worked with value proposition development and implementation in over 600 different companies. So I think if we were going to do it today, I think we've learned a lot about simplifying the process. And we've learned a lot about how you've got to have the whole company involved. You've got to have the whole company involved in the process. You can't, even large companies, we work with some, global organizations. And unless the senior people in the business unit or in the division are involved, it won't work. It won't happen. So our next book, which we've just finished writing, I'll give it a quick plug. I'll give it a quick plug now. There's a PDF of the front cover. It's called Selling Your Value Proposition, and the subtitle is How to Transform Your Business into a Selling Organization. Because one of the things we've learned through the value proposition work that we've been doing in these sort of 600 odd companies is that this is a sort of design blueprint for the organization of how you can turn the whole organization into a selling organization.
We don't want to say everybody needs to be selling the organization. We want everybody needs to be maybe expanding on the value the organization gets.
Absolutely.
That'd be a better way to say it.
We've used that word, we've used the selling word deliberately, to be provocative here, because it is about making sure that everybody understands the role that they play in the customers' lives and how important customers are. Because if we don't have customers, we don't have a business. So, we've got some fantastic examples in the book and some fantastic case studies of purchasing departments, for instance, not being aligned with what the sales and marketing strategy is, and therefore crushing customer innovation because they didn't understand and they were just looking for the cheapest price on what they were doing. So that's what I mean by having the whole organization aligned. You've got to have the whole organization aligned to be a selling organization, but I'm using that deliberately. It's the whole organization aligned to be behind your customer, absolutely behind your customer.
Maybe we should go on a mission to make selling and sales a much better word than it's connotated now, right?
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with, we work a lot with professional services companies, and professional services companies are it's quite funny to us because they really will avoid using the word sales. It's like sales is a dirty word. And we say to them, if you don't have sales, you don't have a company,
What is something about the value proposition that maybe you'd like to add that I didn't ask?
I think that the key to it is you can put lots of things into the mix. And the key to it is absolutely being ruthless with your prioritization of what ultimate things are of real value to the customer. So, I see companies that have maybe 20 different, I haven't got enough fingers here, but 20 different things. And, they want to cram everything into the value proposition blueprint and put everything in there. And we say, no. You've got to strip it out, because I guarantee you it's only probably that thing, and that thing that's absolutely of critical importance to your customer and your marketplace. So, particularly technical companies, and we work an awful lot with, I'm an engineer and physicist by background, and then did psychology and lots of other things that, So, we're very good at working with very technical companies. Because we understand technical companies, and technical companies are often the worst because they want to cram everything in. They want to cram all the technology, they want to cram all the technology in and everything that they've learned and all the fantastic stuff that they've learned in. But the key to this is actually stripping it out and just focusing on those few things that the customer really, really values. So prioritization is key.
Okay, now tell me a little bit about Future Curve and what areas do they cover?
Well, we focus on customer-centric, helping companies often move from a product-centric organization to a customer-centric organization. That's the big thing that we do. And in the process of that, one of the ways of doing that is help companies with the design of their value proposition, the design and implementation of their value proposition, because it's a good vehicle for helping companies move to being much more customer-centric. We do a massive amount of research. We've got social scientist researchers, psychology researchers, and anthropologist researchers. So to really understand customers from their perspectives, which is absolutely key. And we work globally. We work all over the world. We've been have a fantastic partnership with the Irish government. We've been working with them since 2009, taking startup and smaller businesses through this process and helping them grow their exports, helping them grow in export markets, which is why Ireland it's a small country, but it still has the highest export growth of any EU country. So we're very proud of that association with the Irish government. But we work with companies of all sizes, all sectors.
Well, I would like to encourage everyone. I still use crafting, delivering your value proposition on a regular basis in my work. I still think it's a great book. I think I gave it away, okay, and it's on my Kindle now because I wasn't going to buy the hard copy again, okay? That way I can carry it with me. So
I'll send you one, Joe.
No. What's the best way for someone to contact you and learn more?
Please email me. Email is Cindy Barnes, all one word, CINDYBARNES @futurecurve.com, FutureCurve as it sounds, or via Twitter or via LinkedIn. I was going to say LinkedIn. I'm increasingly not a big fan of LinkedIn, I have to say. Twitter's good. Email's good.
Well, I would like to thank you very much. This podcast will be available on the Business 901 iTunes Store and the Business 901 blog site. So thanks, everyone, for listening.
Thank you so much, Joe, for the invitation, and it's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope it's been useful to your listeners as well.